Alright, let's dive into the heart of it. The season's wrapped up, medals handed out, celebrations done and dusted. Now it's all eyes on what's ahead. And if there's one thing Celtic fans love as much as a derby win, it's transfer talk. The speculation, the hope, the possibility of fresh faces coming through the Parkhead doors. And based on a couple of reports doing the rounds, we might just be getting a wee preview of how the club's shaping its summer strategy. Two players, two very different paths. One shared theme potential, proper exciting, maybe even game-changing potential, and it all kicks off with a name that's already got tongues wagging, Velco Milosavich, a 17-year-old Serbian centre-half. Currently turning heads at Crvena Zvezda or Red Star Belgrade for those who don't fancy twisting their tongues. The buzz started with reports from Scotland suggesting the Hoops have had the lad firmly in their sights with scouting checks reportedly underway for a while now. That alone might not raise eyebrows. Clubs scout all the time. But then came whispers from Serbia itself claiming Celtic had even made a move. An opening bid rejected, they said. That part's been denied by sources closer to home, but one thing's crystal clear, the interest is genuine. Now let's talk about who we're dealing with here. Milosavich isn't your average academy kid. He's not just turning out for the reserves and hoping to get a look in. This boy has gone from the shadows of the youth ranks straight into the first team picture in a matter of months. It's been rapid. So much so that even finding proper footage or detailed breakdowns of his game online is a challenge. There's not a ton out there yet, which maybe says a lot about how quickly he's burst onto the scene. But what we do know, and what a few dodgy YouTube compilations do confirm, is that he's tall. Very tall. Somewhere around 6'3" or 4, and at just 17 he might not be done growing yet. He's got that presence. You watch him on the pitch, and there's already a maturity to how he moves, how he uses his body. He's not afraid to get stuck in either, which, let's be honest, is half the battle when you're a young centre-back trying to make a name for yourself in men's football. Now, has he played in the Champions League? No, not yet. Red Star made it into the group stages this past season, but Milosavich didn't see any minutes. He did travel with the squad and made the bench for the last couple of group matches, which is a sign of the trust building around him, but his match time came. In the UEFA Youth League, still from what we've seen, he stepped into the first team properly from October onwards and became a regular by February. There was a small muscle injury in March, but he came back and finished the season strong. That kind of rise doesn't go unnoticed, and clearly it hasn't, with Liverpool, Everton, and even Paris Saint-Germain now sniffing around. What makes the Celtic interest intriguing, though, is how we're positioning ourselves. It's not about outbidding anyone. Now, let's be honest, we're not in that league financially. Red Star won something like 9 million quid. We won't go near that, and we all know it. But what we can offer is opportunity, first team football, a platform. That's something PSG or Liverpool can't promise. Not right away. The pitch is clear. Come here, play, develop, shine, and then go earn your big move. It's the Virgil van Dijk pathway. It's the Moussa Dembele roadmap. It's tried, tested, and if sold the right way, it's powerful. When you watch him, again, grainy footage and all, you see rawness, sure. You see a kid still growing into his frame, still learning when to take a touch and when to put a foot through it. He's not polished yet, but he's brave on the ball, surprisingly composed for someone his age, and you get the sense that there's something to work with. Now I know someone compared him to Ife Ambrose, and that's either going to make you laugh or panic, but let's be fair, Ife on his day was a decent ball-playing defender. If you take that potential and add a bit of coaching, bit of focus, you might just have a player on your hands. And to draw a more fitting comparison, Jozo Shimunovic. Remember him came to Celtic young from Dinamo Zagreb, looked the part, but maybe never quite kicked on the way we hoped. Still the template's there. If the coaching staff believe this lad can follow the Van Dijk route, come in, develop quickly, dominate domestically, and move on for big money, then we absolutely should be going for it. What's most encouraging is that this is happening early in the window. That tells me the club know this is a position we need to address. And we do. We've got centre-backs on the books, quite a few. But how many do we actually trust, Cameron? Carter Vickers is the rock. No debate there. Austin Trusty had his moments this season, but also had a few stinkers. Liam Scales worked his socks off, surprised a few folk. But is he the long-term answer? Then there's Dane Murray, a kid with potential and clearly someone Brendan Rodgers likes. How much he likes him, that's still unclear. Narovski Lagerbilka. And Welsh, well, they're a mixed bag. Personally, I rate Narovski. I genuinely think he might be the second best center back at the club. He barely got a look in under Rodgers, but when he did play, especially towards the end of the season, he looked sharp. Strong in the tackle calm, on the ball good positioning. I'd love to see him get a proper run in preseason, but that's a big if. As for Lagerbilke and Welsh, I don't see a long-term future for either at Celtic. Which means if a couple of those names move on suddenly, there's space for a new face, a new leader. And that's where Milosavich could come in. Look, he wouldn't walk straight into the team, or at least you wouldn't expect him to. But if he's as good as Summer suggesting he could get there quickly. Then there's Trusty. Again, not a disaster, not a roaring success either. He's somewhere in the middle, and that middle ground is where Celtic have lived for a while. When it comes to centre-backs not named Carter Vickers, what we need is someone to match him. A proper partner. Someone who can complement his game, dominate physically, and carry the ball forward when needed. Because let's face it, we were having the same conversation last summer. We said we needed someone to play next to Carter Vickers. And here we are 12 months later asking the same question. That alone tells you the job isn't done. The fear as always is that it gets deprioritized. That we go into next season thinking Trusty and Scales can rotate next to Carter Vickers, and that'll do. It won't. They're fine backups. They're a good squad. Options, but if we're serious about progressing in Europe, about dominating domestically without needing a miracle in every big game, then we need another first-choice defender. Someone with authority skill and the composure to handle pressure. Ideally, another Carter Vickers. Is that too much to ask? Probably. But we can aim close. Imagine it now. Alistair Johnston at right back. Kieran Tierney back at left back. Man, we'll get to him later. Carter Vickers on the right of the central pairing. All we're missing is that one final piece, that other half. Maybe Milosavich is that guy. Maybe not. But if the staff think he can be, they need to go for it. Because the current group is just not convincing. And that's being kind. And look, the same could be said for the left back position. Taylor looks on his way out. Schlupp's not expected to stay. Kieran Tierney returning would be a major win, but we can't expect him to play 60 matches a season. Injuries will happen. Rotation will be needed, which brings us to another link, Kaito Kusumi. But that's a story for the second half. Right, let's pick things up where we left off. The left back situation, with Greg Taylor seemingly heading for the exit and Jeff Schlupp also unlikely to remain at the club. It's looking more and more like Celtic are in the market for reinforcements down that left flank. And while all eyes are on the potential return of Kieran Tierney, which would obviously be massive, there's another name creeping into the conversation. Kaito Kusumi, 19 years old Japanese and currently making waves in the Swedish top flight with Djurgårdens. Now what makes this story interesting is that the initial report didn't come from some vague European source. It came straight out of Japan from one of the country's biggest outlets. That always adds a bit of weight to a rumor. They claim Kusumi is attracting interest from Paris Saint-Germain, Atalanta, and, you guessed it, Celtic. Now if PSG are looking at a teenage fullback, you better believe there's talent there. You don't get linked to clubs like that by accident. Kusumi's rise has been sharp. He came through the youth system at Shonen Bellmare in the J-League, but never actually played a senior game in Japan. Instead, he went on trial in Sweden and earned himself a move to Djurgårdens just a year ago. Since then, he's taken his chance with both hands. Their previous first-choice left-back Samuel Dahl was snapped up by AS Roma last summer, and Kusumi was thrown in at the deep end. Not only did he swim, he thrived, became a regular almost overnight, and by the time they reached the semi-finals of the UEFA Conference League, where they lost to Chelsea, he was a nailed-in starter. He's quick, really quick. Aggressive with the ball, energetic without it. The kind of fullback who loves bombing down the line, knocking the ball past a man and chasing after it like his life depends on it. Watching the limited footage available. The early comparisons that come to mind are players like Emilio Izaguirre at his best. Kusumi's diminutive, no doubt about it. He's not going to win every aerial duel, but he's fearless, sharp in the tackle, and full of energy. He hasn't been capped by the full Japan national team yet, but he's represented them at various youth levels, and there was some chatter about him making the senior squad for their upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Unfortunately for those of us who'd hope to see some of our Japanese boys in action, soon the current Japan manager has decided to stick with the existing squad since qualification is already sorted. That means Kusumi stays out for now. Same for Dyson Maeda and Kyogo. By the way, which is a bit of a sore one for fans hoping to catch them live. But I digress. Kusumi seems like the kind of signing that fits Celtic's recent recruitment model perfectly. Young, hungry, and with resale value. Someone who can grow into a key role, but who also has enough in his locker right now to contribute. If Tierney returns, you've got an experienced top-quality left-back ready to go. But with his injury history, there's no way you can expect him to start every game. You need someone ready to slot in seamlessly when required, and Kusumi could be just that. He'd also benefit massively from working alongside a player like Tierney. It's hard to think of a better mentor for a young fullback trying to adapt to the Scottish game. Now whether Kusumi arriving tells us anything about Greg Taylor's situation remains to be seen. It might not be that deep. Celtic will be scouting several players at any given time. But if Taylor and Schlupp both go, we'll need more than just Tierney to cover that side. And frankly, competition breeds performance. Bringing in a talent like Kusumi not only covers us for injuries and rotation, it raises the standard overall. And this is the thing, Celtic can't afford to coast into next season. The squad needs proper investment, not just for depth but to raise the level. The midfield faded badly toward the end of the campaign. There's hope that Bernardo Engstrom and McLeod can step up, but even with them we lack a bit of creativity, especially when Reo Hatate's out. You could feel the drop in intensity and imagination during the final few games. The cup final and trophy day both felt like labored affairs. We need that spark back. Then there's the striker situation. That's another position crying out for reinforcement. Brendan Rodgers himself has said we need another winger, especially with Jota expected to miss a big chunk of next season. So counting it all up, we're talking about a center back, a left back, a midfielder, a striker, and a winger. That's 5. First team signings minimum if we're serious about making strides in Europe and maintaining dominance at home. Rodgers has hinted at 2 or 3 signings in addition to Tierney. That doesn't feel like enough, not when you break it down. Look back at the 10 players we brought in over both windows last season. Vincenzo Vanzano, Kasper Schmeichel, Paulo Bernardo, Adam Ida, Alexandro Bernabe, Austin Trusty, Ari Engstrom, Luke McLeod Jota, and Jeff Schlupp. There were no absolute disasters in that bunch. Nobody you'd file next to Mo Bangura or Stefan Szczepovic. But how many of them truly elevated a team? I'd argue Kasper Schmeichel did. He had his clangers, most notably in the cup final, but his shot stopping and composure in Europe were a big step up. His ability to play out from the back gave us something new. But beyond him, plenty of solid showings, but not many standout signings. Bernardo was fine. Trusty had moments. Engstrom showed flashes. McLeod is one for the future. But did any of them transform the side? Not really. What we need this summer is players who come in and make an immediate difference, like what Jota did in his first season. Like Carter Vickers, like Hatate. Players who arrive, hit the ground running, and lift the whole team. Tierney fits that bill. Now we need more. So either links to Milosavich and Kusumi might just be rumors for now, but they hint at something bigger, a plan, a direction, a willingness to move early spot potential and build something stronger. Here's hoping the club keeps the momentum going and doesn't wait around. The earlier we get our business done, the better chance we've got of betting these players in shaping the squad and making sure next season starts with a bang. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. And there's a growing murmur among the Celtic faithful in Scottish football circles that Slovakian striker David Strelec could well be on his way to Parkhead, potentially donning the iconic number 9 jersey. While there's been no official confirmation from the club or the players' representatives, whispers have been growing steadily louder over the past week, suggesting that the move might already be in the works. At just 23 years of age, Strelec has been steadily carving out a reputation as one of Eastern Europe's more promising young forwards, with an eye for goal and a physical presence that many reckon would suit the Scottish Premiership perfectly. His recent performances in the Slovak Superliga and international appearances have caught the attention of several clubs across Europe, but it seems that Celtic may have stolen a march on the competition. Sources close to the player suggest that negotiations are at an advanced stage, with personal terms reportedly not posing any significant hurdles. Some insiders claim Strelec has already been in Glasgow in recent days, visiting Lennoxtown and meeting with senior figures at the club. However, these claims remain unverified, as neither photographic evidence nor official club statements have surfaced to substantiate the speculation. If the deal were to materialize, Strelec would be stepping into a role steeped in history and expectation at Celtic Park. The number 9 shirt has long been associated with legends of the hoops, and supporters will be eager to see whether the young Slovak has the temperament and talent to live up to that tradition. It's understood that Brendan Rodgers is keen to bolster his attacking options ahead of a demanding domestic and European campaign. With question marks hanging over the future of some current squad members, the potential addition of Strelec could provide both depth and a fresh dimension to Celtic's forward line. For now, though, it remains in the realm of rumor, albeit a rumor that refuses to go away. The green half of Glasgow will no doubt be keeping their eyes peeled for any developments in the coming days, as the summer transfer window edges closer and the whispers around David Strelec's potential arrival grow ever more insistent. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.